my name is Hannah and welcome back to my channel. I like talking a lot about sex and relationships. We do a lot of that here. Subscribe for good vibes. Literally, good vibes. More on this thing later. But as a millennial, I also love tech and phones and apps, and all of that stuff intrigues me. And because I love talking and thinking a lot about sex and relationships, there is a beautiful crossover of like how apps and technology are going to impact our sex lives and our relationships and things like that. We've already seen dating apps and all of that just kind of like take over the way that we build relationships and how we interact with each other. I'm not going to be talking about dating apps in this video. I have 6 apps for you. 3 of them are practical because I think we need to acknowledge that relationships are like managing a business. You're like managing a relationship, you're managing your life together, you know, like who's doing the cleaning and the cooking and picking up the kids, and there is a lot of like admin that comes with having a relationship. So 3 of the apps are like practical things, and then 3 of the apps are like fun, sexy time things. So we'll have a good balance. We're gonna go practical, sexy, practical, sexy, practical, sexy. And also, as well as sex and relationships, if you didn't know, I love me some organisation and productivity. So when it comes to organising my relationship, I'm in. Number 1 is to-do list app or a notes app. Something that you can share with your partner. You both have it on your phone and you can like add stuff to it, like shopping, groceries. When you realise that you're out of ketchup, you stick ketchup on the list, and then the next time one of you is in the shop, you look at your joint list and you're like, okay, these are the things that we need. So at the moment I use Evernote for all of my note taking, and that has a share feature where you can share notes with different people, and I also use Todoist for my to-do list. And this goes for everyone, not just people managing relationships, but write stuff down. Don't rely on your brain to remember the things that you need to do. As soon as you think of it, like write it down, put it in whatever system you have going that you trust, and then you're good. Then you don't have to rely on this faulty mechanism. Number 2, my first fun, sexy, interesting one. It is an app called The And. You may have heard of them for their YouTube channel. They make loads of videos where they get like different people who have like different relationships to answer kind of like intense questions with each other. So it could be partners, exes, siblings, parent, child, and they answer questions about their relationship with each other. And basically there is an app version. You basically select who you're playing with. So lovers, friends, siblings, parents, child, ex-couple, first date. So let's go lovers. And then it comes up with 12 questions, and then you can play it as many times as you like and it will bring up a different 12 questions. So on this round we got, what do you think I'm learning from you? I like that question. What can I do better sexually? I mean, great question all round. Like, people don't really often say, especially to someone who maybe they've been in a relationship for a while, of like, hey, what can I do to improve? And is there any way that you want to improve as well? What categories of porn do you watch? I like this question. I want to have a look at what the first date ones are. How would you describe me to others? Ooh, I like that. What do you think I do work-wise? Yeah, maybe you've not told them yet. I used to lie to people on first dates about what I did because I didn't want questions about being a YouTuber. I would say some version of the truth, but I wouldn't get specific. I just love any kind of thing that encourages interesting conversations, especially on a first date where it might be a bit like samey on other dates, or like if you've been in a relationship for a long time and you just kind of assume everything about how that person is thinking and feeling and all of that, and then you might be able to shake things up a little with those questions. Are you excited as I am? We're on to number 3, which means another practical one. Oh yeah! And this one is a shared calendar. Now, whatever you want to use, you can have iCal, where the whole calendar would be like a joint calendar, or you can use Google Calendar where you like add each other to events and things. There are other options out there as well, but you just need some form of shared calendar. My nose. You just need some form of shared calendar so that you know what you're up to, what the other person is doing, who is away when, what are things that you are doing together that are booked in the calendar. So practical and functional and so sexy. Mine and Dan's relationship dynamic is that I am the organised one with the calendar, and Dan says to me, what are we doing this day? And I have it all organised and planned. And if we're going away ever and he needs to book days of holiday from work, I add it and I send it to his work account because he does not check his calendar. Like Dan just doesn't have a personal calendar. And this is a indirect video to Dan to say having a joint calendar would improve our relationship. This is the most I feel like I've let you in to my relationship, is this whole dynamic with me and Dan and calendars. Number 4, this is another sexy one, and this is one that I really, really love. Dan and I used this loads at the beginning of our relationship. Maybe I should try and like bring it back, but definitely would recommend. It's called Desire. You have like a joint account on it, as you can see from ours. I am a witch, Dan is a robot, and those numbers are like points. So basically it is, oh my God, Jesus Christ. Basically it's gamified sexy dares. So there's like a whole list of dares in the app, and you send a dare to your partner and they either accept or reject it. If they accept it, it's them that has to do it. And if they succeed, they get the amount of points that is assigned to that dare. So the harder the dare, the more points there are. It really does vary. Like some of them are a bit like, ooh, but others are like quite sexy and difficult, I would say. Like you have to be pretty bold. Dan and I have not got enough points. We have not unlocked the chili level. You can like send things as a dare that you like really want to do with that person, but maybe you're a bit too scared to like say it to them. Being like, I would really like if you did this. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, number 5, we're on to our final practical, functional, and yet still sexy apps or genre of apps. And this one is some kind of money and banking app situation. I'm not saying like go out and get a joint account with someone that you've been on 3 dates with. No, don't do that. But depending on where your relationship is at, you might need to start thinking about money. And talking about money in relationships is very, very important. There are a few different routes that you can go. The most easy one is getting some kind of banking app separately that makes it really easy to transfer funds or split the bill and things like that. In the UK, there is Monzo and Sterling or Starling. Is it Sterling or Starling? I don't know. Dan and I both use Monzo, and that makes it really easy to send each other money, request money, split bills, like all of that stuff. It's just right there in your phone, especially with the splitting the bill thing. It is just so valuable because I just hate the whole like negotiation of money and like, oh, you owe me this much and then you owe me this much and like da 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 da. But when it's that easy just to like transfer money, then you're not going to get into a situation where one of you like owes the other person loads of money because you're kind of like dealing with it like as it's going. So you could have separate pots of money and have an app that sends money really easy, or there are other apps out there where you still have your own separate pots of money, but you then pay into a mutual pot and you can have like a joint budget or just tracks it and things like that. A friend of mine uses one called Good Budget. So her and her husband use that for tracking their joint money that they pool in together. And then the other way that you can do it is just pool all of your money into the same account, have joint banking, but you know, it's totally up to you. Every couple is different in terms of like how they manage their money, and also like maybe if you get married or if you have kids and things like that, your situation would change in terms of finances. So I think it's always important to have an open line of dialogue with who you're in a relationship with about money, so that you're always able to have those conversations. If you really want to nerd out about money and relationships, I would highly recommend looking at the Financial Diet YouTube channel and One Big Happy Life. They have loads of stuff on there, and I love Chelsea from the Financial Diet, and I love Tasha from One Big Happy Life, and I know Chelsea, but I really want Tasha to be my friend as well. How do I make that happen? Okay, we're on to number 6, the final app. It's a sexy one, and boy is it sexy. So, like I said, subscribe for good vibes. You might be thinking, Hannah, this is not an app. And I'm like, yes, you're right. This is not an app. This is a vibrator. It's called the Crescendo, and it's by this company called MysteryVibe. And for full disclosure, they gifted this to me, and I do have an affiliate link if you want to get one yourself, and it's got 30 quid off. But the thing with this bad boy, right, is there are like 5 or 6 like individual motors like throughout it. Oh, and it bends. It can do whatever you really want it to do. But with the individual motors, there is an app. One of the most exciting things for me about this is that your partner can control the app, and your partner can control this. You can get really specific with it. If you go to play, there are like loads of different settings. So it like visually shows the settings on the app of like where it is vibrating and pulsing in this. You can change the intensity to like low or high. Holy crap. You can change like the type of vibration that it is. Jesus Christ, what do these all mean? So silly. Right, okay, anyway. It is one of the sex toys that's on the more like expensive end of the spectrum, but if you have the time and the passion, then I would recommend. So those are my 6 apps for improving your relationship. I would love to hear in the comments if you use any of them, or you're planning on using any of them, or you know of any other apps out there for relationships, for couples, or whatever that you enjoy. I would love to hear about them. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!